Hey, my name's Owen Jack. I'm a graduate student at Stetson University, and I am a goalkeeper. And I'm here with Karel today to tell you a little bit about myself and my soccer journey.
Yo, YBH.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Football Unknown Podcast. Today we have Owen. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, man. How was the drive up here?
Yeah, not too bad. Little traffic on I-4, but that's usual.
How was the break away from soccer?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, always good to get some time off and, kind of refresh the mind. So definitely still did a little bit of training, but a little more off the pitch, gym work and stuff like that.
What did you do off of the break?
Over the break, I went home. I'm originally from Cape Coral, so that's like southwest Florida. So, yeah, I was home doing, like I said, some gym work, just trying to get more explosive. As a goalkeeper, that's pretty important for me, always trying to get more explosive. And then, a couple training sessions a week or stuff, but more playing for fun when I was home. Which is something I always like to do, get on the field and stuff like that.
Would you train by yourself or would you train with a team back home?
Back home, I just have like a few friends who I grew up playing with. So we'll just head out to the fields like in the area and kick around and do some shooting and training and stuff like that.
And how was it coming back to Stetson, back to the environment after, a long winter break?
Yeah, it was good. Always take some time to readjust. Get back into that full team training environment, get back with all the boys. The first week was definitely a little rough, not at the standard we should have been, but this week's been a lot better. And as guys get more fit and everyone gets back from COVID and, we had some issues with that, but as we get the whole team back, the standard just keeps getting higher and higher.
Since spring season is like you guys don't play that much, so what do you guys do? Like, what do you guys focus on in spring season?
Yeah, so we focus a lot on the gym. Like, they try to make us a lot more athletic in the spring season. So we'll work a lot of fitness. We're lifting 3 times a week right now, training 5 times a week. And then as we get into February, March and stuff, we'll get into some games. For instance, we'll play like Orlando City. We're going to play them on February 12th. So that's coming up. So, right now we're kind of pushing everyone's fitness to get back match fit and get ready for that game first off. And then we'll have probably 4 or 5 other spring games. Try to get a lot of guys minutes and stuff like that.
What do you guys focus on in the gym?
Obviously, as soccer players, it's important. You got to have strong legs, strong core. We work a lot on that. We actually got a new strength and conditioning coach at the end of last semester, and he's been really good helping us out, doing a lot of explosive movements like hang cleans, squats, deadlifts, really building those legs in the off season to make us better athletes on the field, obviously mixed in with bench press, your standard upper body exercises just to keep you fit and strong up top.
Tell me more about Owen. Like, where did it all start from?
Yeah, man. So my dad played college soccer back in the day at High Point, actually. So growing up, soccer was just it was never forced on me, but, my dad played soccer and I wanted to be like my dad, like most sons do. And so I was kicking a ball, at the age of 2, 3, right when I could first walk, playing with my dad out in the park or out in the backyard, whenever I could. And then, I just got into it from a young age, played rec, never really played any other sports competitively, just kind of came up playing soccer, played club soccer competitive growing up. When I got to high school, I played high school and club. And then kind of getting into my senior year of high school, I realized, yeah, I want to play college soccer. Like I want to try to play Division 1. I thought I was good enough, but I played for a really small club in Cape Coral. My age group was good. We were a good team in the state, but at that time, academies and ECNL were kind of just becoming big on the scene, so that's where a lot of the college coaches were going. So I really had to do a lot of the legwork my own, like emailing schools and, trying to get an opportunity. And I originally committed to Boston University in February of my senior year, and stuff kind of fell through financially and stuff, nothing with the coaches or anything, but fell through, and I ended up in March, like, oh, what am I going to do now? I called Coach Emmett, who's our head coach now. He was the assistant coach at the time, and he picked up the phone. I just kind of cold called him, and I was like, hey, my name's Owen Jack. I'm looking for a place to play. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Fortunately for me, they were kind of in a transition period with coaches and some goalkeepers, and they were looking for someone, so they watched me play, and I got the opportunity to go to Stetson, and I've been there for 4 years now, and this will be my 5th year.
Wow. So you're saying that, after things didn't work out with your other commitment, you just called the assistant coach of Stetson just randomly, and then he picked up. So how did you get him out to your games? Like, did you send him your schedule, and what did he come out to watch you?
I didn't just call him. I called pretty much every school in Florida. So I would call USF, UCF, everyone, just like, hey, I'm looking for a spot, because stuff fell through, and it was, I really wanted to pursue that goal of playing Division 1, and a couple coaches answered, but Emmett was one of the guys who answered and was serious about it. So I sent him some game film right away, my schedule to state cup games, and that's where they came out and watched. And like a week later, I went on a visit and met them and saw the campus and decided that was where I was going to go.
Did you travel and played in different countries before you went to university?
Yeah, I did. I went to Holland in 2016 with a bunch of guys from my area. My coach, he had a contact at Fenard, which is the second biggest team after Ajax over there. So we got an opportunity to go out there with probably 22 guys. And we played a bunch of academies over there. We played 3 academies. We got to train with some of the coaches from Fenard, and we watched probably 3 professional games and saw Amsterdam. Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
How was it playing against Fayard and those different teams?
We didn't actually play Fenard's academy just because we weren't good enough, to be honest. But we played a second division academy, so that was the division under Fenard. And they had beat a lot of American teams who had come over in the years prior, and we ended up beating them 3-2. It was the guy who was taking us around Holland was shocked that we had beaten them. It was a really good level. We honestly just played a really good game and somehow won, but yeah, it was a really good experience to see that level, and just it's a lot higher than it is for a club team in Florida.
How was it different from the level of playing soccer in Florida?
Yeah, it's just their team's much more organized, structured. The players themselves are a little better, just because if you think about it, over there, they play soccer from a young age, and they have really good coaches, and there's a lot of good players, and that's all they do. Whereas, to give you an example, we talked about academies, and the closest academy to my house was 2 hours, so there's a lot of players who probably don't get that development that they should. So that's probably just why there's some better academies over there, and they've also just been around for so much longer. You look at a club like Ajax, it's been around since the 1800s, so they have a proven roadmap to getting those players and developing them.
Did you visit some places in Netherlands? How was it over there?
Yeah, we went to Amsterdam. It was a really cool experience. We adventured around there a little bit, had some fun, so yeah, it was cool. It was really cool to see another country and just the way of living. And, Amsterdam especially is a really old kind of city, so it was cool to see that architecture and stuff from, way back when. Coming
from there and going back to playing at the D1 level, how is it playing Stetson, and how is it transitioning from playing club and playing for your high school to playing for a D1 college?
Yeah, for me personally, it was a huge jump. Like I said, club isn't the highest level. And so I had never really been in an environment so structured and so competitive and such a high level, that it really took me time to adjust to that. The biggest thing probably that I noticed off the bat was the speed of play. It's just way quicker. You play in club, you have way more time on the ball as a field player and stuff like that. And then you get into college and it's a lot quicker. And it took me a little bit to get accustomed to that. But fortunately, my freshman year, I had the opportunity to play 2 games. So I played my first game against USC Upstate. I kept a clean sheet. We won 2-0, so that was huge. And then we went away to USF a couple days later, and we lost 3-1. And, yeah, it was a good learning experience for me. I wasn't ready to play. Looking back, I can say, hey, like, I should have redshirted my freshman year, But I also look at it, and it was a good experience. And I took a lot from those 2 games that I was able to fix going into that spring. And that spring we played Orlando City, Tampa Bay Rowdies, and I played all those games, and I played really well against Orlando City and Rowdies. Orlando City actually had some goalkeepers go down that summer, and they needed someone to come in, so they reached out to my coaches and brought me in for a couple of days. So that was also a really cool experience that following summer.
How was it playing for Orlando City? Like, just like training with them and just being in that environment.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a really cool environment, an experience I'll never forget. If I never go on to play at the pro level, that's something I'll definitely take with me forever. Just from, you get into the facilities. I was there for 2 days. I trained with them. They had 4 goalkeepers. They loaned one out. One was on international duty and one was hurt. So it was just me and Brian Rowe, who is a great guy. He's been in the league forever. So it was cool to learn from him. But, you go in, say they train at 10, you're there at 8:30 eating breakfast. They have everything made. All the players are there. They're foam rolling. They've got your kits laid out. You put on your all Adidas stuff and you head out to training, and the level was really good. I remember just being like so locked into what I was doing because I didn't want to bring the level of, because it was just me, Brian Rowe, and the goalkeeper coach. So I was serving and stuff, and I was just so focused because I didn't want to bring the level down, for him.
What are some things you learned coming from high school at Stetson? Like, what were some tips you took personally?
I would just say the biggest one was just confidence. High school soccer was like pretty easy for me, so like I just gained a lot of confidence playing that, and I just realized that the more confidence you have, the better you're gonna play. So that was definitely something that I took with me into college, and something that I've tried to keep with me the whole 4 years.
I saw you played against Derby County.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that about?
Yeah, that was a really cool experience too. I was playing for a USL2 team that summer, and we played all our games at IMG. And Derby County and Bristol City, which both play in the USL Championship, they were on preseason tour, and a lot of those English teams will do it at IMG because the facilities are so nice. And so they were there, and somehow our owner got in contact with them and was like, hey, would you guys like to arrange like a preseason friendly? So we ended up playing both of them. So we played Derby County, and like I can say to this day that was probably the best game of my life. Yeah, it was we only lost 2-0. They split their starting 11, so they had like 5 or 6 starters in each half. Guys like Tom Huddleston, who've played for England, they're out there. Guys like they had a striker who went on to be like one of the top goal scorers. I think his name was Jack Marriott the next season. So yeah, it was really cool to play against them and be at that level.
How was it balancing, I've asked this question before, but like how was it balancing school and soccer?
Yeah, definitely coming in. When you come in as a freshman into that fall semester and you're in season, it's definitely challenging because you've got to balance your traveling, your practice, your classes. You're constantly missing class. You got to stay on top of getting with your professors. So yeah, it was definitely an adjustment, but the coaches and the staff and everyone, they stay on top of you to make sure that you're staying on top of your academics. And then after that first semester, the spring semester gets easier, and you just know how to handle it after that.
What's your major?
So I just graduated my undergrad in business administration. and I started my MBA just last week.
Per se, like what would happen, like if you have just been struggling with like getting your work done and it's keep like staying on top academically, like what would Stetson do to like help you in that way?
Yeah, so for the soccer team personally, usually one of the coaches will kind of get with the guys who are struggling in class, and they'll help you make up a little plan and what's due and when you're going to turn in which assignments and stuff like that. We also have like academic counselors who will help you like switch classes and talk to professors. And then also like student athlete tutors is a big one. For instance, like me and probably 4 teammates were in calculus last semester, and it was pretty tough. And so we had a student athlete tutor, and she was awesome. She just met with us whenever we really needed it, and without her, we wouldn't have passed that class. So yeah, there's a lot of resources that they have for us.
What are your goals after you graduate from graduate school?
Yeah, so having those 2 degrees, I could either go and get, a pretty good job. I'm not 100% sure what I'd want to do, or maybe pursue professional opportunities after this season. It just kind of depends what happens over the next 10 months or so.
And what are some things you enjoy doing besides soccer?
Besides soccer, really enjoy surfing, to be honest. Really? Yeah, I'm a big into surfing now. Ever since I moved up here, and New Smyrna and Daytona Beach are all right there, and some really good surf spots out there. So it's always good to go out there and have some fun with a couple of the other guys on the team surf too.
How's the coaching staff at Stetson for you personally?
They're awesome. I really like all of them. We're going through a little transition with assistant coaches right now. We just lost our 3rd and 4th assistant. So we just got 2 new ones in, and they seem great so far. Coach Emmett's been with the program for a little longer than me, so I've known him for a while, and we have a really good relationship, and he's always looked out for me. And Coach Jack, who's our assistant, he's been with us for a year, and he's just been really good to all the guys, and he really pushes the level and helps to make us all better players.
What is some advice you would give to like just players in Florida that wants to pursue a career in Division I soccer?
Yeah, I would say that, first and foremost, you have to really train hard. Obviously, anyone will tell you that. But I would also say you have to be realistic. Not everyone's a Division I player, but there's other levels, Division II, III, NAIA, there's other college soccer opportunities, and all those schools are still a good level. So I think it's just finding the right level for you. And then, like I said, really doing the groundwork, emailing these schools when you go to tournaments, constantly updating them with highlights, your grades, what tournaments you're playing in. Hey, I scored 3 goals this weekend. Here they are, stuff like that. And that's what coaches really like to see. And when a guy's really invested in your program and emailing you week in and week out, you know that they're not emailing everyone these emails. They're really interested in your program, and coaches really like to see that.
Perfect, man. I appreciate you for coming out, man, for giving your story.
Thanks for having me on.